Can you help? Can you help me? Can you help? Self-Helpless! Can you help? Can you help me? Can you help? Self-Helpless! Can you help? Can you help me? Can you help? Self-Helpless!
Thanks to BetterHelp for supporting Self-Helpless. Visit BetterHelp.com, that's better, H-E-L-P, and join the over 500,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. Self-Helpless listeners receive a special offer of 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/selfhelpless. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Self-Helpless. I'm Taylor Tomlinson.
I'm Kelsey Cook.
I'm Delaney Fisher.
And we have a doozy of an episode for you today. I'm already nervous about it.
Are you already worried about it, Taylor?
I'm already worried. This
I'll
is Kelsey's.
see myself out.
This is Kelsey's pick.
It sure is, guys.
Oh,
it sure is.
When you said we should do an episode on worrying, I was like, oh my God, yes.
And also like, have we not
Yeah.
done it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. Before we dive into it, though, we do have a Patreon announcement that we're very excited about. So exciting news about our Patreon community. We now have 2 tiers to choose from. Our Helpsters tier and our Type A Plus tier. Basically, you're getting all the cool stuff of the This Is How We Live Now tier, which was $40 a month, and now you get everything for $25 a month. So if you've been thinking about a good time to join Patreon, now is an excellent time to do so.
Yeah.
So we've decided to lower the price to make it more accessible for our listeners. We have heard your feedback, and we have structured some things for you. The Helpster tier receives 2 bonus episodes every month, where we respond to your emails and share aspects of our personal lives that we do not discuss on the public podcast. And then our Type A Plus tier receives those same bonus episodes along with one-on-one rewards from us, which include Face and Space with Kelsey, where Kelsey answers your top 3 beauty, grooming, and feng shui questions, creative consulting with myself, where I would give you advice and feedback on your creative endeavor in a 15-minute video call, and Tangents with Taylor, where she sends you a personalized video shout out. And you can still get 4 tickets to any and all of our headlining shows for life. You can have up to 4 tickets to a show every single weekend. You can call into the show where we respond to your voicemails live on Self-Helpless. And we have something called Helpster's Choice, where you get to choose an episode topic for Self-Helpless every single month. So now's the time to do it, guys. You get all that for $25.
Yeah.
And we are only 57 patrons away from hitting our first big goal of 500 members.
Yes.
Where we're going to be doing a live stream Q&A for you all on Patreon. So definitely join before we hit 500 so you don't miss that fun hot mess of a night that we do. It'll be a good
and
time.
that first tier is only $5, by the way.
Yes.
It's just $5. You get 2 bonus episodes. It's a great way to spend $5 a month.
Exactly.
Get to hang out with us a little bit more.
So yeah, we restructured for you, so it's a lot more affordable and accessible for everybody now.
Yeah. Check it out if you guys want. Patreon.com/selfhelpless. Do you guys want to do a quotable?
Yes.
This is a very applicable quote for today's topic. This is from the old Dalai Lama. If a problem is fixable, if a situation is such that you can do something about it, then there is no need to worry. If it is not fixable, then there is no help in worrying. There is no benefit in worrying whatsoever. Well, doesn't that sound nice and easy?
For the Dalai Lama, I bet it is.
I bet it is.
Boy. Oh my
Man.
gosh. Yeah, Kelsey yesterday texted me and Taylor and asked us if we could get our top 3 topics basically that we worry about. And I was like,
Top 3 worries.
Top 3
Oh my
worries.
gosh.
I was like, only 3? I have 100 immediately. So I had to really weed them out.
I know, that's so hard. I mean, Kelsey, what are your top 3?
So do we want to just get right into
I would like to start with your top 3.
Okay, we can do that. I would say my number 1 thing I worry about is what people think about me.
Okay.
And I mean, that stretches far and wide. That's a very large umbrella worry. But I think a lot of my day-to-day worrying can be stemmed back to what people think about me. Yeah. Do either of you resonate with that?
I probably worry about that. My number 1 is safety. My number 1 is something terrible is going to happen to me or someone I love.
Got it.
Number 1 is death. How about you?
Yeah. I would say, my number 1 is not having enough time to do everything that I want to do. and having to prioritize constantly, because I literally want to learn everything that there is to know on the planet and go everywhere and you can't. It's kind of that's why I really like that quote, you can do anything but you can't do everything. I don't know who that's from, but like that is so true.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, I have like this urgency that I have so many ideas and I want them all out right now and I can't, and that drives me nuts.
Right.
So not enough time is my biggest worry.
Okay. Yeah, I would say number 2 is what yours is for number 1,
Yeah.
Tay. The safety, death, getting a crazy disease, having some sort of severe allergic reaction. We touched on, you guys remember when I opened up about like my OCD period I went through in high school where I was afraid that my water got poisoned?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that? Was that on
Yes.
Patreon?
It may have been. I'm not sure.
I don't think at the time I was maybe comfortable talking about it on the main one, but I don't mind now. But like when I was in high school, I was not in a great place mentally for a period of time, and I flew to Europe, and I think it was after I had seen. Have you guys seen Casino Royale, the James Bond?
Oh, yeah.
With Daniel Craig, and his water gets poisoned, and it, like he goes into cardiac arrest, and that just really fucked me up. Like watching it, that scene really scared me. And I was traveling to Europe, and I was in the airport, and I realized that my backpack was like slightly open, and I got this crazy catastrophizing thought in my head that somebody could have gone into my water bottle and like poisoned my water.
Wow.
And so I didn't drink any water on the flight from Spokane to Europe, and then I
my
got
gosh.
very, very sick in Europe because I was like severely dehydrated.
Oh my gosh, that sounds
no.
horrible.
Not even water from like the
Flight attendants? No, I think
they
I
could have been in on it.
I don't, I don't even remember, but I think I slept most of the flight, so I just wasn't like, yeah. So
Man,
I've
no
been
more
I've been
James
some
Bond movies
places
for
in
you.
my mind that was
Yeah.
not a good period of time. It was during like after I got all my allergy tests done, and the doctor did not have very good bedside manner and was basically just like, you should get rid of all your pets and you should live in a bubble. And I felt at risk of dying all the time. And then the manicure tool thing happened, and then I was afraid of chemicals because of that, because that was part of like why my vagina swelled shut. That's a whole other story. We can't get into that whole thing. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you search This Is Not Happening, that story comes up.
Well, I mean, allergies are just God poisoning you
All the
So
time.
It's completely fair.
Yes, all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So I think I have like a huge catastrophizing tendency with health and like dying and safety, getting in, lifts and Ubers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
How about you guys? What's your number 2?
Number 2 for me is that I'm not doing enough.
Wait, isn't that your
That's
number
the
1?
same thing.
No. Number 1 is that I won't have time to do
Oh,
everything.
then it won't be your fault. Number 2 is that it'll be your fault.
Number 2 is that I am not doing enough at this moment, like at all times, with all the things that I want to do. And I constantly have to remind myself that, okay, I can only do one thing at a time. Obviously, I'm afraid of death, but that for me feels like another category of like I'm like walking a fine line between an existential crisis at all times.
Yeah.
But for me, as a functioning human, this is what I worry about.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm not doing enough things.
All right.
Wow.
Because I have so
Yours
many on my
sounds so
list.
healthy.
Yeah, these are so different than how I feel about
Yeah.
worrying.
I worry about how many reps I did in the gym. Okay.
Relax.
All right.
Yeah. What's your number 2, Tay?
My number 2 is that people are lying to me, or that people aren't who I think they are, or how they're presenting themselves.
Interesting.
That's my number 2. I think I worry
Okay.
about that a lot. People's intentions. I think I'm suspicious of people's intentions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
because I
death
don't want to
and
be
intentions.
wrong. Yeah, I don't want to
Okay.
be dead or wrong.
Okay.
If I'm dead wrong, oh boy.
Oh my God! What
Boy.
a double
Oh, Aaron
whammy.
laughed at that one. That felt good.
Aaron likes
That was
puns.
such a dad joke. I'm so sorry. Oh, that was awful.
Oh man, what's number 3 for you, Kels?
The more I think about it, the more I feel like it does just tie back into being worried about what people think of me, but looking really stupid or like really silly, like letting my guard down and not appearing perfect. So I caught myself, this was after we decided we were going to be doing this episode. I was writing in my journal, and I went to say, I can't remember what I was going to say in my journal, but I had the thought, no, don't write that, because that looks like too goofy or weird, and when you die, somebody might read your journal and think you were weird. And I was like, what in the actual fuck is happening in my mind?
Yeah.
If my own journal isn't a safe space for me to be myself and relax, then where the fuck can I be I mean, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I can't journal.
Didn't you say that?
Yeah,
that
I don't
you're
like I don't like journaling at all because and this is not healthy. But yeah, no, I feel unsafe that all my deepest, darkest shit is like in a book that somebody could potentially stumble upon. So I make it purposely illegible, so I can't go back and read it even. So it's, for me, it's just like an exercise of like getting things out on paper, and then I cannot even read it when I'm done.
That's so interesting.
what is
national
wrong with
treasure.
Us? This is not okay. Like, that's just...
Yeah, I don't have that.
This upsets me. Because I also think that, like, I know this is a large generalization and there's probably a lot of gray area, but I also feel like there are people in this world who are just like anxiety prone people, and there are people who are not.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I don't meet a lot of people in the middle. It's either like, I know people who for sure have anxiety and deal with a lot of worrying, and then people like my husband, other guys I know, other women I know who
Cam.
just,
Yeah.
the things I worry about, not even a thought on their mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here I am feeling like I can't journal in my own home because when I die, somebody might be like, oh, that was a weird squibble she did. Wonder what that meant. No one fucking cares.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. Well, yeah, I guess, I mean, I'm sure everything that I'm afraid of too is also maybe caring what people think. Not having enough time to do all the things, or if I'm not doing enough. I'm sure that's somehow connected to what I receive in return of doing stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I do think it's personally validating just like to do it, but I'm sure it's a lot of external things too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it all relates to that.
Is your number 3 that you're worried other people are going to think you won't have enough time to do what you want to do? Is that what yours
It
is?
should be. Actually, my number 3 is that I'll never have enough money to do everything I want to do. Or go
You
everywhere I
just
want
want
to
to
go.
do too much shit.
I am a doer, man. This is the shit I worry about constantly, is that I'm never going to have enough money. I'm never going to have enough time. And I'm never going to get to all the things that are on my freaking list, which is like a 70-page Google Doc long of things that I want to do in my lifetime. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, I know.
That's
It's a
lot of
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm constantly
Delaney.
spiraling. Always. I've got to step back and look, okay, I can only do this one thing right now. I can get to everything else later. I have to tell myself I can get to it later, or else I will be in a constant state of, pacing around the apartment.
Yeah.
Have you
Not
always
knowing
been like
what's up.
that?
Yeah, I've always had way too much going on and piling more on it, and because I just have like this urgency, and I'm sure it's probably stemming from my fear of death that I'm always thinking about. Is like, look, I don't know how much time I have here, so I better get all this shit done immediately.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes I have to kind of step back and say, like, I can't rush this thing, I can't rush this process. And so I have tried to I often try to fast track things because of that.
I wonder if death is actually your number 1.
Probably.
And then that makes all these other things like, I got to do it now because this is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for trying to frame it so cool, though.
Yeah,
Leaving me
Delaney.
alone on the
me out.
death thing. God.
You guys found me out.
My number 3 is that I'm not good enough, I think, at stuff. Like, I just get in these things like, I'm not good enough for my job. I'm not good enough of a sister or partner or whatever else. So that's probably a constant worry of mine. And then when I fall short, I'm like, see?
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep. But it's not. It's just you being human, and you're not
Right.
going to be
Yeah. Right.
all the time.
Yeah. And now a word from our sponsor. Is there something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? I've been using BetterHelp for, almost a year now, I feel
been a
like.
while.
It's been a while. I love my lady. Sorry. Shout out to my therapist, Emily. She's the bomb. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 24 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. There's a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's counselor network, including expertise which may not be available in your local area. So definitely take advantage of this, people. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. Visit their website and read testimonials that are posted daily. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. So visit betterhelp.com/selfhelpless. That's BETTERHELP, and join the over 500,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. Special offer for Self-Helpless listeners gets 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/selfhelpless.
Now back to the show. I just wanted to share a couple stats about worrying. So 31% of Americans experience an anxiety disorder at some point in their life. Almost 50% of people suffering from depression also suffer from an anxiety disorder. And anxiety disorders incur an annual cost of over $42 billion in the U.S.
Ooh,
Jesus, that's upsetting.
Whoa.
That is. I'm glad someone's making money. Yeah.
So we want to today kind of like understand why we worry, the negatives of worrying, and how to improve your anxious thought patterns if we can. We'll all hold hands
my
together this
gosh.
episode.
I know. I feel like all of my thought patterns are anxious. Did we repost that thing, all the types of thinking?
The one
faulty-
I posted.
Did you post
on
it?
I posted that on Instagram over
Yes.
the weekend.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Neil Brennan.
Yes. I
posted it.
screenshotted that.
Yeah.
You put it in your story.
I put it in the Self-Helpless Instagram story as well as an Instagram post. If you
Okay,
aren't
that's what it
following
was.
Self-Helpless podcast on Instagram, by the way, you should. It's a ton of great stuff on there.
It is, yeah. But this was like,
Yeah.
I mean, real quick, because if you haven't seen it, I'm going to go over it really quickly. I do all of these things. These
And
are like
explain again as a chart of
Yes.
self-destructive or destructive thoughts.
destructive thinking styles.
Okay.
So like one, all or nothing thinking, a mental filter, which is only paying attention to like our failures and not our successes, jumping to conclusions, which is like fortune telling and mind reading, emotional reasoning, assuming that because we feel a certain way, we must think it must be true, labeling, assigning labels to ourselves or other people, overgeneralizing, disqualifying the positive, catastrophizing, shoulding and musting, and personalization. This is all my fault. Okay, I read that and I literally sent it to Dustin this week and I said, this is just all the ways to think. There's not one thing on here I was like, I don't do that. This is all I do is this
Yeah.
chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the buffet as well.
Oh my gosh.
What do you identify most with, though? I'm definitely
I mean,
all
that's
or
like asking me to
nothing.
pick my favorite child. You're an all or nothing the most.
I'm
you
all
think?
or nothing the most, I think, or catastrophizing.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I might be those two also. Yeah, all or nothing. You're right. That's probably what I am. And then I think I blame myself for a lot of stuff if I can't figure something out. So the personalization, this is my fault. Blaming yourself for taking responsibility for something that wasn't completely your fault.
Okay. I think a lot of perfectionists probably struggle with all or nothing or black or white
Yes.
thinking because the idea of perfectionism is like, if it is not done perfectly, then it is horrible.
Yup.
There's no like grace period or like, oh, well, I just made this one flaw. Everything else was fine. It's like, if it wasn't perfect, then
Yeah.
you might as well quit.
I think the should or must is probably one I identify with the most.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's
I
it.
should do this. I should do this. I'm, and it's like, well, I don't really have to. I just really want to. I think it would look a lot better if I did X, Y, and Z. But the other
Got it.
person probably does not give a fuck if I do X, Y, and Z. They just really need the information quickly and
Yeah.
concisely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I do a lot of shitting like, you should just be able to do this. Like, you should just be in this place. You should just be at this level. You should be whatever. And oh my gosh, in the last year, I have just realized I can't do that to myself anymore because it doesn't do me any good. I still make
Yeah.
mistakes. Like, I still fuck up.
Right.
But thinking that way makes you feel like you're protecting yourself from fucking up.
Right.
And
But
you're
it
totally not.
actually makes it feel worse.
Yeah.
Because then not only if it like doesn't go the way you want, do you feel bad, but then you're also like, and you were supposed to do it like this. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
what? Now that's like all these other levels of feeling bad that you don't need.
Yeah, exactly.
So we want to look into why we worry for a second. Worrying is an attempt at dealing with uncertainty. And we talked a lot about uncertainty versus certainty a couple episodes ago. Worrying can be an attempt to prevent bad things from happening, kind of like what you were saying, Tay. Catastrophes, breakups, career failures, health issues. Worrying can be an attempt to solve problems of daily life, like at work, at home, friends and family. And I know that that's, we talk about being control freaks here on the show, being very type A. Apparently me way more than you guys, which still baffles me according to the Facebook group. But I do think worrying, like you said, Tay, gives you this safety net of, well, if I'm thinking about it, then that must mean I'm doing something to protect myself from.
Yes, it's
Totally.
not going to happen if I think about
Yeah,
it.
Right.
it makes sense that this is instilled in us for survival. I mean, back in the day, we had to always make sure that there wasn't a freaking tiger coming out to eat
Yeah.
us, So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
stay up and worry because it'll keep you alive. It'll keep you
Yeah.
alert. It'll keep you coming up with solutions if shit happens.
Right.
But we don't need it anymore. The tiger's not around anymore. I mean, they're there, but they're in, we're in separate locations now.
But now they have Tinder profiles.
That's a throwback from a while ago. huh?
Is it? I don't know.
Talk
I've never
about-
been on
Didn't
Tinder.
you talk about getting followed by a wolf or something? In a
Oh, that was on
profile?
Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
Yeah,
Oh,
just that everyone who always messages you has a wolf drawing as their profile picture, and you're like, oh, is a wolf trying to eat me?
Yeah, some like
Yeah.
deranged cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't need this shit anymore. Like all these survival, instincts that we have, we just don't need it anymore for the modern
Right.
world.
Do you
Yeah,
wanna
I
eat-
do feel like I just live in a state of fight or flight. Like when I
Yeah.
first started going to therapy again, she was like, yeah, you're just like always firing on that. And I'm like, oh, this is exhausting.
Yeah, that's a lot. Do anyone want to read the benefits and negatives of worrying?
Sure. Benefits of worrying. Worrying may spur a person to take action and solve a problem. The uncomfortable emotions that come with worrying may cause people to take action and get rid of their discomfort. Worrying may help people remain focused on the stressor in need of fixing.
See, it's motivating.
Yeah, exactly.
To an extent.
See, this is why it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because my therapist has asked me, how is worrying serving you? How does this positively serve you?
Yeah.
And I can't think of examples sometimes where because I was worrying or being
Yeah.
overly obsessive about something, I did it well or I did it right.
Yeah.
Because I cared.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
where do you draw that line?
Yeah, for me, it's like, okay, if I'm worrying about something, how can I come up with a plan really quick to prep for that happens? And once I feel like I come up with a plan, I should not continue to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could put it to rest now.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
That's healthy, I think.
So you can worry, again, we should bring back to the worry appointment that my
Yes.
therapist recommended is look, if you find yourself just low grade worrying constantly every day, all day.
Oh, yeah.
Give yourself a 10 to 15 minute worry appointment daily or weekly whenever you need it. For me, I usually put it at 3 p.m. every day. So for the entire day, I'm just if I catch myself worrying, I'm oh, you can do this later. Remember, you have your appointment. And it helps you get focused on what you actually need to be doing. And then by the time the appointment rolls around, you may or may not need it anymore because you feel good.
Yeah.
So
Right.
sometimes I take it and sometimes I don't. But you don't go over more than 15 minutes, she said, or else it becomes compulsive and you don't want to be doing that. So it just gives yourself let's check in and worry about some stuff. What am I worried about? Okay. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry that you won't have enough time to worry about everything you want to
You
worry
should have
about?
never told us that. We'll never let that go.
I'm so sorry. That was a bitch move. The negatives of worrying, I feel like we probably all know these, but worrying can negatively affect your sleep schedule and immune system. Yep.
Been there, done that.
Done it. Worrying thought patterns can spiral and cause emotional or situational paralysis. Oh my God. Spiraling thoughts may prevent you from taking action. Oh my God. Worrying is uncomfortable and may incite a negative emotional state.
That's so true. Because
Yeah.
sometimes worrying is a motivator, like we talked about in the positives of worrying, that you can go, oh, I'm worried about this, so I'm going to do something to ensure it doesn't happen. And sometimes that actually does work.
Yeah, like not getting murdered.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
But sometimes if you are in such a state of spiraling, workaholic, burnout, all that, you just feel frozen. I can't move. I can't do anything because I'm so overwhelmed. And then nothing's getting done.
Right.
Do you feel, as you guys are both also anxious types, the people in your life who are not anxious types, do you ever feel like your worrying spills out onto them?
I cut those people out.
Dead to me.
That's what I do.
See, I can't not, like, because I know Kane doesn't worry about things, then that makes me worry on his behalf. There are
I see.
my worrying is boundless.
You take on the
Knows no
burden.
bounds. He got a parking ticket like a month ago, and it was just sitting on our counter, and I was like, why do I have a feeling like he's not going to remember to pay this by the deadline? Sure enough, it was like 2 days before, and I was like, hey, remember this is coming up? He's like, oh, yeah. He went up, he tried to pay it. There was like a technical difficulty, and he was like, oh, I'll just have to call them tomorrow. And then tomorrow rolls around, and I'm like, hey, did you do it? And he's like, oh, no, I'll do it right now. But I'm like, if I had not worried on your behalf,
Right.
you would have had to pay more money. And like, that shit drives me fucking crazy. But I don't think I'd want to be with somebody who is also as neurotic as me.
I don't know. Sometimes that sounds nice. I think that'd be nice if I was. That's not true. I've dated one person who is as neurotic as I am.
How did that go?
It was great. It's the best relationship I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. We're still friends. He's crazy. It's the best.
I can't even picture what that would be like.
Ooh, I
in a
don't know if I could do
relationship.
it.
Oh, I don't know. It helps.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see pros and cons.
Yeah, I definitely do some of that for Cam.
Yeah.
It's more so instead of his own stuff, it's if we're doing something as a couple. Like, okay, we gotta probably book those flights for the wedding we're going to, or we gotta probably figure out the hotel room, or like all that type of stuff. So if it includes my schedule some way, then I worry about it, or I like talk about it. But I'm like, you know what? This is on you. Like he got summoned for jury duty. Poor Cam. But like I could constantly like, hey, don't forget. But I'm also like, I have so much shit up here. I can't. And I'll be like, I'll put it here where he can see it. And I might point to it every once in a while. But other than that, like that's your shit. and if it's our stuff, then I'm like, okay, I don't mind either mentioning it like quickly or immediately, or I'll wait and to see if he does and if he takes care of it. And it kind of depends on the priority of what it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough though.
With stuff like that, I mean, I guess I'm talking more of like a generalized sense of anxiety. I feel like I can make other people uncomfortable. So like if I'm super nervous about something, I want the other person to be nervous too, so that I have a friend. Like,
Oh, see, like I would hate that. I do love that Kane is so chill. Like that energy in the house is really helpful to me, to have somebody that's not like me,
Yeah. Yeah.
But like when you guys fight, is he as worried about fixing it right away as you are?
I mean, he likes to just really draw it out.
Yeah, that's a
sit in it,
chill.
which I fucking hate. We've had to put time limits on fights.
Yeah.
Like that's like an actual conversation we've had.
Get the egg timer.
He could be good for like a couple days, just like letting it draw out and just power move. I'm like, fucker. Like, you get a couple hours, and then I'd have to resolve it. But,
Yeah. See, that's what I couldn't do, the chill. Like, I want someone else who's like, yeah, we got to fix it. We got to fix everything. Like, that's...
maybe a happy medium. I don't know. Like Cam is very chill, but he also told me that he has some anxiety recently. I'm like, what? About what? I've never. When did that? It took you over 3 years to bring this up. Maybe he was just trying to,
relate.
I don't know, or just like. I think maybe back up like why he smokes so much weed. You know what I mean?
My
Like
God.
I think
Lord.
I think it could have been related to that. Like, oh no, I'm super anxious because that's why I need this so much. No, I'm not really sure, but he was telling me about like certain thoughts he has. I'm like, oh, that does sound like an anxious brain, but like you don't show that at all. He's like, well, I
Sounds
just
like someone read an article.
sure does.
It's like maybe he just has these thoughts and just doesn't act on anything. Like he just has these thoughts but still remains on the couch while I have these thoughts and have to get off the couch and clean the entire apartment. So maybe we just
deal with it in different ways.
yeah, maybe we medicate differently too, or like cleaning is really like soothing for me, and for him lighting up a fat J does it. So I don't know, we're all different.
Playing a little Madden, huh? So we've got a couple things that might help you guys, hopefully helps us. 5 ways to improve your anxious thought patterns. Number 1, stop the adrenaline, focus on your breath. When you're worried, your body releases the fight or flight hormone adrenaline, which is what causes the physical symptoms of stress. So practice deep breathing. This will help lower your heart rate, relax your muscles, and help slow your racing thoughts. Here's the problem. I love me an adrenaline rush.
Oh.
And I have a low grade, like, trying to keep that buzz going all day, every day. Mm-hmm. Like, I seem pretty, I think, type A, and, like, oh, I don't really do drugs. Like, I, smoke weed here and there, and I drink here and there. But, like, I am addicted to adrenaline.
Yeah.
I want it all the time.
Yeah.
Morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'm constantly having to remind myself to breathe.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm in a state of like overwork or like I know I'm freaking on fire doing something, I have to remind myself, okay, you need to take a second right now and take a deep breath.
Yes.
It does change things if you just breathe deeply for like 10 full breaths. You do like you kind of just stabilize a little bit.
Yeah, stabilize is a good word. It doesn't fix things, but you do stabilize.
Yeah, you're less like, I'm less like on edge, I feel like.
I feel like the plane is still crashing, but like the landing gear's out.
There's a chance.
Yeah, we're going down hard, but we might.
Your parachute was working.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it is. Another way to improve your anxious thought patterns, write down what you were worried about and what you're grateful for.
Oh, I like that.
An associate professor in psychology at the University of Chicago says that writing down your worries might be counterintuitive, but it's almost as if you empty the fears out of your mind.
Could not agree more with that.
That's a great one. And then another bit of research. Research proves that simply writing down who and what you are grateful for triggers positive health benefits. That's true. Anytime I've written down like a gratitude list, totally helps.
Instant.
Yeah.
Instant.
Yeah. I do the writing down things I'm worried about or things that I'm depressed about. If I'm journaling and I feel like everything is coming at me and I'm like, I just feel weird, I will just stop doing the free flow journal, whatever, and just make a list of like, this is worrying me, this is worrying me, this is making me sad. It really does empty your brain out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can just look it all in the eye.
Yeah, you're facing it head on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I do. Instead of writing everything down, I'll just think of it really quickly. I think I told
Because
you
if you
guys
write it
this.
down, someone might find it.
I gotta make it
I want them to
illegible.
know I'm grateful for Cam.
Yeah,
Journal's
so
like national treasure. It's like in code.
I got some crazy shit in there, you guys. No, I don't know. I've never been in the habit of journaling, and so for me, it doesn't feel like it's not my natural go-to.
Yeah.
But what I do like is just wake up in the morning, I think I told you guys this, think of something that I'm grateful for yesterday, think about something I'm grateful for right now, think about something I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
I like that.
Boom, 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 done,
Yeah,
done, done.
Those are good.
That's great.
it.
I like that.
That's my shortened version of morning pages.
Yeah. You're efficient minimalist.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
All my shit is digital now. Like none of my practices require any paper or pens of
Oh
any
my
kind.
gosh.
Even my worry appointment, I don't write the worries down. I just think about them and then I put them away. And my
God.
You're so. It's just it's too much.
You crack me up. I mean, if that makes you feel good, then I'm not knocking it.
Yeah,
you just make me laugh.
Yeah.
How efficient you are.
You don't need any materials. What are we on now?
Another thing
A
you
tree's
do.
not gonna die on behalf of my fucking fears.
Want to know the eco-friendly way to not worry people?
Oh
Hit
my
me
gosh.
up. Where are we
Another
at?
thing you can do is practice mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness techniques involve non-judgmental awareness of present thoughts and emotions. This practice fosters cognitive awareness of the emotions and thought patterns linked to a person's worries. So this can enable a person to more easily disengage from a worrying cognitive loop. I talked to my psychiatrist about meditating and she was like, you know what? I was like, I have real trouble meditating. She goes, yeah, she's like, sometimes it doesn't always help someone who's super anxious because if you get like quiet and still, she's like, sometimes I tell my clients with really bad anxiety to like run around the block or like do a crab walk across the floor or something because getting that like nervous energy out
Really?
is more helpful than like trying to sit quietly and not think about anything. Not to say that that's the case with everybody. I've definitely tried meditating before where it did help, but like, yeah, a lot of the time I feel like for me, if I'm trying to meditate, maybe I need to meditate proactively instead of reactively, because if I do it while I'm already anxious about something, which is always, then I get like, I feel like it makes it almost worse.
I think what you said there, though, is not trying to think about anything, which I've heard is not what you're supposed to do for meditating, or you're not supposed to put any kind of like restrictions or restraints on it. You just sit there.
You're trying to like empty your mind.
Let the thoughts come in.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? You just kind of let it be there.
Yeah, there's no... I think that's like a huge misconception with meditating. It's not like I will have no thoughts for an hour. It's thoughts will continue to come, but you just notice them. They say on the Headspace app that it's like clouds moving through the sky. Like they will keep moving through. Your thoughts will.
You're just like, oh, I might die.
Look at that little cloud.
That's interesting. Everyone may be lying to me. All right.
That cloud is shaped like a bomb. Nice. I really think you would benefit maybe from trying meditation again.
Yeah. All right.
If you just baby step, Headspace is really helpful. I think there's also a huge benefit in like getting out and moving, but
Combination of both.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like meditating. I
Yeah.
do. I find it helpful. It makes me less reactive during the day because you can
100%.
see all these thoughts coming and you can feel all them. And then it's like the longer you sit there, you're like, oh, I'm still alive and these thoughts are still happening and I'm fine. I don't know. It's just kind of like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
You might want to try it.
All right. Let's
never know.
To a cloud fear shit. And then another thing you do is practice thinking like a rational scientist. So evaluate the data, know the odds of different outcomes, bet on the more likely outcome, but be aware that nothing is certain. This will help foster an internal, rational perspective on your circumstances and an acceptance of life's uncertainties.
yeah.
All
I
right.
think. Do you guys know Mean World syndrome?
No. what's
Mean
that?
World?
Mean World syndrome. It's something I read about in college. It is the idea that you are, like something is about to happen to you that will harm you. Like you're always thinking that, like the world's after you.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, you know. Yeah,
Yeah, that's me.
That's you. That's me too.
Yeah, that's all of us. I mean,
Yeah.
And I think the news really perpetuates that idea of like you see one thing about a woman being murdered and whatever,
Right.
and then you go, that's gonna happen to me too.
Oh,
But
yeah.
and while can that happen? Absolutely. But statistically,
Right.
you're reading about it because it's in the news and it's a newsworthy thing,
Right.
Yeah.
Because it does not happen.
Right. Think
You
about
know,
all the women not getting
constantly.
murdered.
Exactly.
Us right now.
Right now.
Just like, I don't watch the news
us
anymore.
right now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Think about everyone not being murdered. Us right now. Prime example. Totally not getting murdered. ATM.
you're not getting murdered. Yeah, no, I don't watch the news anymore at all. I get all my news filtered through Cam now.
Oh, okay,
I just, it's not productive for me at all.
Yeah.
Talk about filling your mind with just garbage that's going to make you feel like shit all day.
Yeah.
You know, I have to feel like I love filling myself with just positive stuff constantly all day. Even
Yeah.
I've been really picky about like movies and TV shows I watch too now.
Me too.
I'm just fucking over it. I'm over
Yeah.
feeling uncomfortable and like shit if I don't have to.
Yeah. And then the last one is something that we actually already talked about with scheduling your worrying time.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at this. So schedule your worry time. Schedule a 30-minute period each day using these 4 steps. My therapist recommended 15 minutes or less, so you might want to
Stingy.
stick to that.
Maybe she just did that for you because you can't handle a full 30 minutes.
It's like your to-do list is too long.
Yeah.
Step 1, identify the things you are worried about. Step 2, plan the time and place to think about your worries. Step 3, if you catch yourself worrying outside of the designated time, make a point to think of something else. Or for me, what I do is I just remind myself that I have my appointment at 3 p.m. to worry. Step 4, use your worry time productively by thinking of solutions to the worries, which I do that. Do. Yeah. I do that. Yeah. So that's what I do. I sit and I think about, okay, what am I worried about? Okay, great. So if this X, Y, and Z happens, what would I do? Okay, I do that. Okay, what's the next worry? Okay. All right. I know I would be okay. I would just do this, So I just go through it like it's actually if it were to actually happen. Like
Interesting.
I sit in it. Okay, let's say this is really happening right now.
Yeah.
What would be my next move?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I solve it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously the death thing can't really solve that, but everything else,
Right.
God damn it.
I know. Really, it's upsetting even to think.
I know.
about.
Let's not think about it anymore. So anyway, that's how we do it. That's our worrying episode. Who has segments?
Yeah, we do. We got
distract ourselves.
segments.
Love
We
a
also,
segment.
before we get into segments, we have an iTunes review of the episode from EMZ 82991. It says, I recently discovered this podcast as I was looking for something to help with my anxiety, which has become so overwhelming that it's definitely affecting every relationship in my life and my job. I'm so sorry. Listening to this podcast has definitely helped me reach out to a new therapist, introduce myself to self-help books, and be more open to the idea of meditation. I'm only on episode 22, but you ladies are killing it. You girls are comedy geniuses. That is so nice.
Oh,
That's
so
too nice.
doing such good stuff too.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you for your very
fantastic.
kind iTunes review. We're going to be sharing one on every episode going forward. So if you have not left us one yet, just take a second, click that 5th star on iTunes, leave a nice review. It really keeps us on the charts. It helps a lot.
Yeah, and then another thing we're doing on Instagram right now. So upload a picture to your stories of just something that maybe you heard about on the show, or maybe that's something that you're doing that you were inspired by. Self-Helpless. This is a perfect example. Started going to
Yeah.
therapy and other
Yeah.
things. Maybe a book that you're reading, and tag us in it, and we will repost you. So we want to fill our Instagram with like all the positive stuff people are doing, whether you heard about somebody on the show or whatever. Thought that'd be cool to like see. We hear about it in emails so much. I would love to
Yes.
like see the visuals of what people are doing, whether it's like you're hiking more or you're doing this or whatever.
Totally.
And it'd be really fun.
We love reposting stuff on the Self-Helpless Instagram. I'm running it for the month of September, and we're just gonna each rotate each month, and it's been really fun to like just get my hands dirty with you guys, interact and have lots of fun. So
Hell yeah.
it's been
And
great.
yes, and then another thing we're making, we made a Patreon chain, so check out patreon.com/self-helpless for our 2 tiers. Very exciting stuff. And just a shout out to the people who are part of our top tier for so long. Just a shout out to Joe, Krista, Linda, Lionel, and Milton. Thank you guys so much. We love you. And now you can get all those rewards for $15 less a month with our new tier. So
You're very sweet.
You're
Thanks
the
for being
best.
such great helpsters. All right, shall we do some segments?
let's do it. What you got?
I have a defuck
Oh my God.
Let's hear about it.
that you guys saw in my stories, and some of you listeners might have seen in my stories. So this was a few nights ago now. I had a show at a distillery in El Segundo, and just to set the scene, this was like a fairly small room, and their lighting situation was like all the lights were off and they just had one very bright spotlight. Kind of like when somebody's like an inmate is escaping prison and they're like trying to find them, and it's just a really bright, that really bright spotlight. So that's, anyway, I'm just setting the story up. That's what it was like in the room. We performed. Kane was there. It was a fun show. And then afterward, I was standing with Kane and a group of other comics, and this woman who seemed like she was maybe in her 70s, she took me by the hand and was like, I need to speak to you. And she pulled me aside. And it's funny because we had just been saying, like, I feel kind of weird talking about the open relationship stuff on stage because I feel like some couples are getting uncomfortable. Trying to find a way to talk about this. And right after we were saying that, this old woman comes up. So I kind of shoot the comics to look like, oh, she's gonna tell me that like I'm a sinner or something unsavory. Anyway, so she pulls me aside and she goes, so I was a photographic stylist for 20 years. And at this point, my mood changes and I think she's about to like pay me a compliment or say something nice about like my makeup or my outfit. And then she goes, when I was watching your comedy, your face was so oily and so shiny that it distracted me from your jokes. And when I was watching you up there, that spotlight hitting you, it was just like 3 big white rectangles on your forehead and your cheeks. And you need to wear powder before you go on stage because you are too oily not to.
This is.
And
I've heard this story, and I'm still so mad.
What did you say?
Yeah, what did you say?
What did you say back?
I mean, I was kind of paralyzed. I couldn't. It was one of those things where it's so rude that it's funny.
Yeah.
Like in the moment,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, you are fucking crazy. Like, I cannot believe you think it's okay to just say that to people. So
Yeah.
I kind of laughed to myself and I was like, okay. And then I turned away and she left. And I had to go back to the comics who were like, what'd she say? And I just was like, she just like told me I'm gross. Like, she just made me feel so badly about how I look and my skin type. Also, the thing speaking of worrying what people think of me, all this stuff, the thing I am physically most self-conscious is my skin. Like, including, that includes my moles. I talked about that I'm having them removed soon. But my skin, like, I have struggled with acne for so long. And I do have an oily skin type, which makes me more acne prone. And like when I go on stage, I don't want to have to worry about that, like, and think about, do I need to powder up before I get up? It's like I'm just trying to do my job and tell my jokes. And I like was able to laugh about it with the comics there in Kane while we were at the venue. But as soon as we got in the car, it was like, kind of like going through the stages of really processing it. And then I got like mad. I was pretty upset. My feelings were hurt. And then by the next day I was able to like, okay, maybe I should talk about this on my Instagram stories, try and make light of it. But it hurt my feelings. Yeah. It's not fun to like feel like I know I'm oily. I know my skin is oily.
Well, it's like, keep it to yourself, bitch.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like,
did she think she was like doing you a favor, like telling you something?
Probably.
Absolutely.
So it came from like, oh, honey, I gotta tell you, like that kind of thing.
Absolutely. It's that generation of women. My mom did the same shit to me growing up, where she'd be like,
that's your mom, though.
Oh, well,
This is some lady.
I know. It is another level where like this is an actual stranger, but like my mom. I've shared this story about my mom telling me that like, oh, you have a mustache and it's blonde, but your hair does hang over your lip, and so you need to start narrowing. I was like 12, like I was too. You know what I mean? You're just like, you don't want to be worried about that, but I think that generation is very concerned about like, I think how you look and presenting yourself, especially if you're going to go be a performer on stage. I'm sure there are a lot of people who see if maybe we go on stage looking more casual, like dressed down, that they're like, well, that's just not the way it should be. I get that vibe sometimes from older people.
Yeah.
But
where's your zoot suit?
Your zoot suit. What the fuck is a zoot suit?
Zoot suit, right?
Look it up.
Zoot suit. I'm gonna be Google imaging zoot suit all night.
Oh my God. Anyway, that was my defuck, where it's just like, and then so I post that in my stories, and then I posted a picture right after that in my actual feed, like making a joke about like, you should go see what I just talked about in my stories. And some guy commented on that photo being like, you always have a pimple on your lip.
Literally, get out.
I cannot deal.
Yeah.
It's like inception of insults. Like they just keep going. They don't stop.
Oh my gosh.
So many layers of rude.
Dude, and it's gonna get worse and worse the more like famous you guys get too. And that's like, that's why it's like, I thought, when I stopped stand up, I was like, definitely feels like a breakup, but I'm so glad I don't have to deal with this, because this is a very real thing that unfortunately comes with this.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I'm safe from this. This is fantastic.
yeah.
But then it's like, now I'm not.
Yeah.
Anything I do is going to get criticized. It's going to be in a different way. Or now it's
Right.
like, the podcast is still out there. And it's like, I thought that I'm like, oh my God, I get to shut myself off from this now. This is a great perk. No,
Yeah.
it's going to be anytime that you do anything and you put yourself out there, is you're gonna freaking come across people like this.
Yeah.
So,
Fucking
just gotta frickin'
Darlene.
filter that shit
Yeah.
as much as you can.
Yeah.
It was
painful.
do it face to face anymore.
Huh?
At least you don't have to do it like face to face.
I know. Totally.
That's better,
totally.
right?
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't really do face to face anymore. Now it's just like Instagram messages or. I'm sure I'll get some face to face stuff at some point.
Right.
But,
yeah.
No.
But not right now.
I feel for you guys, dude.
I was
That's
bamboozled.
tough.
I mean, like,
That was not okay.
It was not okay. I did not expect it. She seemed like a sweet old lady.
Yeah.
She
And then
gestured you aside, like
she pulled me
like-
away from my
like
pride, my
Pennywise
group.
to the sewer.
Yes, she lured
bit
me.
your arm off.
She lured me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just as painful as a stranger saying something on, YouTube or Reddit.
Yeah.
If not
Yeah.
more. It's like right to your face. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And it's your Nana.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
this should not be coming from you. You should be a safe space. You're supposed to fucking bring me cookies.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so yeah, I don't know who that woman was, but I feel badly for the people in her life. If she felt comfortable saying that to a stranger, I don't know what she's saying to her,
Yeah, her loved
friends
ones.
and loved ones, but that was my defuck.
Yeah.
Delaney, I have a quick segment.
Go for it.
If you, but you can go. I can save it if you want.
You can go for your segment.
I
I got
mean-
a couple quickies too, but
Okay.
you go.
My defuck is that this week my mom tried to set me up with a dude that handles her car at Mercedes. And she's so funny. She calls me and she goes, "Okay, Tay, this is me speaking as your mother." And I was like, "All right." And she goes, "So there's this really cool guy and he's great and all these things. And I guess he's been taking care of her car for a few years. He's like my age. He's not like whatever." And she's just like, "Taylor, I just think he's cool. And I never do that. I would never waste your time with anybody who I didn't think was cool." And she's like, "So what do you think? Would you go out with him?" I was like, "I'll get coffee with him if you want me to, Mom. Like, it's whatever. Like, I don't know when I'm going to be in town." She's like, "Okay, but she's like, I'll invite him over to the house and then I can introduce you guys." And I was like, "This is not,"
God.
I was like, "If you would like to give him my phone number," because he's not gonna, I get handed people's phone numbers all the time from moms and shit, and they're like, "You should meet my son." And it's like, I will never meet your son, even if he is the coolest guy ever. Your son
Right.
could be Obama. And I'd be like, this is not going to be how our story starts. And I said, "Why don't you just give him my number the next time you see him?" And she's like, "I'm here now." And so she gives him my number.
Oh my gosh.
And the rest of the day, she's like, every hour, she's like, "Did he call you? Did he call you? Did he call you?" And I was like, "I'll let you know if he does, okay?" And I'm like, I had to watch my poor mom like realize that this guy had essentially played her, where she was probably like, "I have a great daughter," and he was probably like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then she was like, "Of course he means it." And I'm like, "You can't just hand someone a phone number, real
gosh.
push at their job,
Right.
What? That's not good customer service to be like, I don't really do that. Like, I can find my own broads." And it's like, also, I was like, "You think I'm gonna date someone who lives in Temecula? You think I'm gonna date somebody?
Strike one.
Yeah, who just lives there and just ew." And also, I'm sorry, if you're in your 20s and you live in Temecula, get out. And like, also, I'm like, she's like, "He works 6 days a week. He has Sundays off." I was like, "Guess who's not available on Sundays?" Like, no, that would never work. And she's just like, she called me again today to apologize. She's like so embarrassed. She like tried to set me up and it didn't go anywhere. I was like, "You're the only one upset about this." Like, truly. I was like, "It's fine." There were like a bunch of people who Instagrammed me about some friend of theirs. Like over the weekend, I'm trying to do like those question and answers every Sunday. And there's this girl that wanted me to date her brother, who's like a park ranger, and just like kept hounding me. And she's done it before, and I just ignored it. And this week I was like, "What? Why are you doing this?" And then all these other people came out of the woodwork, like, "I'm friends with him. You actually would." He was actually pretty cute, but like, I would never do that. I would never hit somebody up off Instagram like, "Hey, a bunch of your acquaintances." He messaged me and was like, he's like, "My friends really got a kick out of that, like that you answered. Thanks for doing that. I'm sorry they bothered you." And I'm just like, "No, they're nice people." Like,
Oh my God.
but I'm just like, why would anybody ever do that?
Yeah.
In a million years. Anyway, so I felt bad for her that she got ghosted
Oh.
She
on the setup. She did.
Through you.
She literally called his work back.
What?
And left my number on the voicemail to make sure she didn't give him the wrong one. I was like, he's just not that into you.
Oh, God.
It's okay.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. I hope though that like wait, she gave him your number or like a card or something?
I think I don't know if she wrote it down. She said, she said she just told it to him.
Oh, that's so funny.
And that maybe he wrote it
Dude,
down.
this is going to be a hilarious story one day if he ever realizes that it was Taylor Tomlinson that
Oh
he
my
got
God.
referred
yes.
to, because like when you're
I doubt it.
freaking big time famous, you're like, "Shit, I should have called that number that woman told
She
me."
would have been my ticket out of Temecula. God damn it.
Oh God, that's so funny, dude. Oh man, I love it.
Cracked me up.
Man, you got people in all kinds of places trying to set you up.
I mean, just really that one. People.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Have you said on the actual show yet that you are?
Didn't I say that Kyle and I
Oh, it was
broke
on
up?
That was on
Patreon, I
Patreon.
think.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought we did it on a normal one. All right. Well, my defuck. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Kyle and I broke up a couple weeks ago, and I mean, if you're on the Patreon, you definitely know. But like the last 2.5 months were like really horrible, and Reader's Digest version, it is for the best, and it just is what it is, and. Shit happens, you guys. Shit happens. And whatever. Some people are not compatible, or it's not the right time, or it's not just not the right thing. And life throws shit at you. And luckily, I am 25 and thriving and
You're like Flubber,
young.
baby.
Thank you. I am.
You are Flubber.
And now I just get to use this crystal Michelle gave us to not fall back into old habits. So yeah, good news, single helpsters. You got someone in your corner now.
Taylor is single, just hot and single, ready
Hot
to
and
meet
single.
you at the car
Hot and
dealership.
ready. Hot, single, emotionally unavailable. Get at me. Get at me. I will make you get tested and then not sleep with you. That is where I am at.
Oh, just a bundle of fun. All right. Well, I mean, my defuck is not gonna. I just feel
Not
like
gonna add up.
sometimes I feel like my defucks have to follow that defuck a couple times, and it's just never gonna equal it. Anyway, so my defuck / good shit that I think is so funny is that my dad is new to Instagram, and he does not do social media, and he comments on every single post on my personal Instagram and the Self-Helpless Instagram, and my dad gets confused that the Self-Helpless Instagram is not my personal Instagram, so sometimes he'll comment like it's my personal.
is so
Great
funny.
quote, Delaney, and it's from Self-Helpless.
Oh, I know. As the person running the Self-Helpless Instagram this month, boy, do I know. Have I gotten real close with Papa Fisher? He's got a lot to say. My God. I asked for book recommendations, and your dad said something like, "My friend's not really letting you guys read off some baseball stats." like what?
Some baseball stuff. My dad he is the funniest troll ever because he doesn't know what trolling means or what it is. And so he is just engaging with all the Instagram opportunities that are now at his fingertips.
Oh my God. His Instagram algorithm has to be like through the roof because they're just like, this guy's activity is nonstop. He is talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Every post is a comment and a like. Oh my Lord.
Dude, it's so funny. I seriously, you guys cannot miss it if you're on the Self-Helpless Instagram.
Yeah.
He's usually the first comment on my personal stuff and Self-Helpless. It cracks me up, dude. And then he will call me and talk to me about the comments that he's
Like, you see this one?
So, Delia, I wasn't sure if I should have posted this, but I did, and then I deleted it quickly, and I did this and said, "Oh my
He
God."
is so clearly your dad. Like, undeniable that you came from his seed. Because it's just like dad joke vibe and like kind of like a little inappropriate,
Yep.
and it's just like so exactly your dad.
Oh my God, you guys, I seriously want to do like a social experiment on how many followers my dad can get like from the podcast.
Yeah.
Like if I say right now, go follow Ron Fisher, and I'm not going to tell him anything, and I just want to
Oh
see
my God.
if he just like thinks his Instagram is
bump.
blowing up because of all of his hot comments. You guys, this would be so funny. It's Ron _Fisher FISCHER _25. Seriously, please. He's got 8 followers right now.
He has 8.
He has 8.
How many is he following?
He follows 16.
Boy, I feel
50-50.
like we're honored to even be one of the 16. That's
Yeah.
a great statistic right
Dude,
there.
yeah. So seriously, I am going to. So now we have 8 in our mind. The next time we record, I want to know how many helpsters followed him for this joke. You could totally unfollow him like the day after, but my God, that
Wow.
would be so funny.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, geez.
So that's my moment. Yeah.
We've said a
is
lot of
good.
things today.
Yeah.
We've
say a lot
really
of
said a
things.
lot of things.
So many things. And I'll get more into it on a different episode, but my dad is now vegan.
Amazing.
My dad, who is my dad. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys.
You out here turning people.
I mean,
You
seriously,
are.
this is the daddiest dad guy that you could meet. Burgers, cheeseburgers, and all the things. My stepmom asked if he would watch Earthlings with her, and he did. And he went vegan over the course of several weeks after. But that's what did it for him, I guess. I was shocked.
for him.
I'll
That's
have
cool.
to get into it a little bit more in depth, but I was super shocked by it.
Wow.
So yeah, that's why you're gonna see some weird vegan posts on his thing now too.
Oh my gosh.
Ron Fisher. Oh boy. All right, let's plug some dates.
All right.
This comes out Monday, September 23rd. I'm going to be headlining the Comedy Underground in Seattle this whole weekend. I know we've got a lot of helpsters in the Seattle-Tacoma area, so come out to those. I'll be there the 26th through the 29th. I've got Kane with me. It's going to be lots of fun. I will also be headlining the Comedy Works Club in Denver, October 13th through the 17th. And there's just a bunch of like universities. I'll be in New York for a weekend. Just go to kelseycook.com and get some tickets.
Nice. Go to ttomcomedy.com for tour dates. I'm in Tempe the 12th through the 14th of October. And then after that, I believe I am at Helium in St. Louis. I've got a bunch of dates leading up to what is really important, which is November 10th, 2 shows, 5:30 and 8 at the Aladdin Theater in Portland, Oregon. That is my Netflix special tapings. So please come to that. And if you're not there, get there. Fly there. No, I'm kidding. If you have friends or family or people, please send them clips of me and tell them to go. Only if they like it, though. If they're not into it, just tell them to stay home. Because I'm very nervous about it and I want it to be good. So tickets are on sale for that right now.
Amazing. And then I just want to give a shout out to one of my Doing It with Delaney clients. Shout out to Brittany. She is an incredible digital artist and writer. You have to follow her on Instagram. It's just like beautiful images with it's deep and amazing and it makes you feel good. You have to go check her stuff out. So follow her at BrittNeyEarnshaw on Instagram. You will not be disappointed.
Yay. All right, we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. Bye. You guys, we love you so much. Thank you for supporting Self-Helpless. You can follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at Self-Helpless Podcast. And you can visit selfhelplesspodcast.com for all things Self-Helpless. Learn about Patreon and how to sign up. Our merch is there. Information about our Facebook group and how to join. All the episodes you can listen to are on there, a little bit about the show. Our individual sites are linked there, and our contact information, email, and P.O. box if you want to send us some love letters. And you can follow us individually as well. I am at Delaney Fisher on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and DelaneyFisher.com, where you can watch my docu-comedy special, Love at First Cousin, for free. And then DicksByDelaney.com if you want to buy some dick mugs.
Sweet. I'm at Kelsey Cook Comedy on Instagram, at Kelsey Cook on Twitter, kelseycook.com for all tour dates and merch. And my album, Savor It, is still available to buy on iTunes, and you can watch Wrists of Fury, my foosball web series, that has an episode of Taylor and Delaney on the All Things Comedy YouTube channel.
And I am at Taylor Tomlinson on Twitter and Instagram, and ttomcomedy.com for my Netflix special and all live tour dates.
Sweet. We love you guys.
So much.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Can you help?